Hello, everyone. Hey, Ray Ray. How are you? I see the first one in the building. Oh my God, y'all, it is so hot. Oh my God, I'm going to do this live and get up out of here. It is hot. Oh my God. Y'all, come on in. Hey, Brittany. Oh my God, y'all, it is so hot today. Yesterday was, oh my God. This week is just, I don't know. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Y'all make sure y'all stay nice and cool, okay? Cause this shit is like it's like 105. It been here all week. Like it's not calming down. They said until Sunday. So this is really crazy. Yeah, they telling people if you ain't even got to go outside, don't even go out. They got cooling centers open here for like you know homeless people and stuff like that, and they giving them food and water and stuff. So because it's too hot for them to be outside, it's very hot here. Where is Lante at? And then yesterday I didn't go live neither because my granddaughter came to see me, and because she's leaving Sunday, and I had my little motioners yesterday. She came to pick up everything that people donated to her from her Amazon list. So I was looking for latte. I hit up on the back end. So yes, she went today for orientation. She's pulling out Sunday at 9. I was sad yesterday. I was. So not used to her going away. But Open Book talked to me yesterday. She was like, D, she's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. Because I had to talk to Open Book because I was a little upset. And I talked to one of my other little aunties. They was like, D, she's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. So I had my little moments yesterday. So I did watch a live. Brittany, how's you doing, baby? How's the kids doing? Is it hot down there, Brittany girl? Where you at? Um, Cause it ain't no joke here, baby. And thank you to Joanne for your last 3 orders for my granddaughter yesterday. I didn't see it to this morning. Thank you, girl. Appreciate you. Love you, love you, love you. And I did watch I forgot that lady name yesterday. I watched her last night. She had a great live. Um we good D. Yeah, it's hot here in South Carolina too. It been I've been staying inside as much as I can. Yes, it's very hot. Like, yo, for real, when you wake up, it's already like 80 something already, y'all. Already 80 something. I'm like, what in the world? Yeah, yeah. And they was like, check on the elderly, make sure your dogs is, your animals is in the house cool. I mean, I don't think people should have their animals outside. I'm not an animal lover, but I'm just saying I think, bring them in the house or whatever. It's just too hot for the animals to be out too. It's just like this is really deadly heat. This heat is crazy. And this is gonna be my last live until Monday. I'm not gonna go live no more until Monday. I'm gonna drop a video Saturday, but I won't be live. I'm just gonna chill out, start my little weekend early, and we'll resume back on Monday when the heat a little better. Cause baby, I can't do it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah. Yeah, I drink a lot of water too, but sometimes I do want some juice. Shit. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes that water be not hitting her at the right time. But I did watch the lady that did her live guest last night with an attorney. She was an attorney. So that was a very, very great live. She said a lot of uh things that she seen wrong in the case when it comes to Carmelo. Even the attorney did. So that was a really, really great live last night. Me and Open Book was over there on that live. That was a really great live, you know. But we everything will work out for Carmelo. Everything gonna work out. I still pray for his mom and dad. Now, I did see on Facebook somebody shared it because I don't follow everybody. Child, I just see stuff and keep scrolling. That lady, um, good morning, Ray Ray. I don't think you was in the chat when I spoke to you. You probably wasn't. The lady, Sarah lady, sued Carmelo's dad. Did y'all see that? What did he say about her? I I mean, y'all just let me know if I miss something, cause I don't know. I don't know if I miss something. I don't know if I miss something. Why is she suing this man? What did he do? What did he say? Now, someone did say that he was inboxing her. No, she was inboxing him, and he responded. Like, why are you bothering this family anyway? Like, leave this family alone. Y'all want us to leave Austin family alone. Well, then leave them the fuck alone. Why y'all all up in their inbox bothering them? Like, I don't know. That's just crazy. So, I don't know. But I did see that she sued him. And she also sued the other guy. The other guy that was for Carmelo family. The one I told you I don't like. I forgot his name. But she put a lawsuit in against him too. That lady crazy. That lady is definitely crazy. Something is definitely wrong with that lady. She's crazy. Seems like she ain't about the money. But y'all, we're gonna get into about maybe two videos, maybe three. All depends on. Oh yeah, that's his name. That's his name. Yeah. So she sued. Do you know why she sued? Um, Aunt Carmelo's dad. Do you know why did she sue Carmelo's dad? Because I like to know why. Because what did he do to her? Because they were saying that she was inboxing him and he was inboxing her back. So, and then I don't know if it's true, y'all, because y'all know I don't like putting out false information. I don't know if it's true or not. They said that, I don't know, was it one of Carmelo's uncles or something supposed to be threatening people, saying things about people? I don't know. Who is she? I don't know. Y'all, the lady, she went to court, y'all. She was on the Metcalf side of the family. She wasn't in the family, but she's rooting for them. She's rooting for them. Okay. She's taxed everybody on Facebook that's on Carmelo's side. So she's the one that put the lawsuit out on. Damn, what? Oh, Sarah's her name, y'all. Hey, Auntie, I love you. No, not Tiffany. It's the lady Sarah, y'all. That's her name, y'all. Sarah. She on Facebook. Auntie, I love you. My granddaughter say thank you for your gift. She came to see me yesterday. She opened up everything that people donated to her for college. And she said thank you very much. She appreciated it. She's leaving out Sunday. She's leaving Sunday, and I'll talk to you about the rest behind the scenes. Yeah, that's her name, Sarah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Sarah Fields. There you go. Yeah, cause you remember she attacked. Damn, what's the other content creator name? I can't think of her name right offhand. I can't think of her name right offhand, y'all. You are talking about the Sarah Lake. That's the lady, y'all. Well, y'all, why did she sue his daddy? Why did she sue Carmelo's daddy, y'all? Do y'all know? Right, Neat at Night. She was messing with her too. And Brittany, what's the other girl name? The one that's big on Facebook that she was messing with. The one, and she had a YouTube channel, but she don't go live no more. But she got a big TikTok, and she real cool with 2K. What's her name, Brittany? You know who I'm talking about. I can't think of her name. Okay, Brittany, have a nice day and stay nice and cool. Sherelle, right? She going after Sherelle too. Yep. She's going after Sherelle too. I'm like, what is wrong with this lady? She's going crazy. Sarah Fields and Tiffany are securities working together. Oh my God, I heard that. So is that true? I heard that. I'll be up and down Facebook just looking and browsing. You know how you be browsing and you see stuff, but I did hear somebody say that. Oh my heavenly Christ. Wow. Right. That at least that was people say. Yeah, that's what I just said too, because I seen it. I'll be browsing, y'all. I don't be all into the comments and stuff like that. I just learned to mind my business when it comes to certain stuff. So when I see stuff, I just look at it, and sometimes I go in the comments because the comments be hilarious. You know what I mean? Oh Lord Jesus! Now Sherelle don't play. I ain't even gonna lie. Now I ain't even. I don't know if y'all really know Sherelle like that, but Sherelle, she ain't nothing to fuck with. Now I'm gonna tell you that. Now you come at her, you baby. Ooh Lord. Baby. Hey to you too, girl. 4976. How you doing today? Yeah. And I guess people upset because they're trying to help the family. I don't know, y'all. I just don't get it why they so upset about everybody trying to help Carmelo family when this family asking for the father's asking for $1 million on his GoFundMe. Now I don't know what it is. I ain't seen the GoFundMe lately. I don't even know if the GoFundMe still up, child. But I just don't understand how the GoFundMe let them keep their GoFundMe up and shit and took down that latest stuff. Christina, how you doing today, baby? How are you? But it's crazy, y'all. But I do believe that he's going to get justice. I believe he's going to get a fair trial. And people saying, "Oh, that's crazy," because if they take it back to trial and if he lose, he can get more time. I'm not thinking like that because God is good. God is good. Okay, and I don't believe he will get more time. What they are looking for, all the loopholes was in this trial. Now, on that live last night, I listened to that lady asked the lawyer, have she ever seen a judge come out here and speak so fast after a big trial like this, and she said no. She said what? No. I'm doing good, sis. I'm doing good. It's just so hot, but other than that, I'm doing good. But ooh, dog, the weather is terrible. Hey, auntie. So y'all, let's check this video out because he's a nice content creator. He got good content too. Cause you know what I do, y'all. I watch other people content, right? Because I'm an observer. I like to observe people. You know what I'm saying? I like to see what people really about, with their content. I always been like that in any story I cover. I just don't praise people in the beginning. I like to sit back and watch and see how they work, what they say, what they do, how they move. I'm like that when it comes to any story. I don't care what story I cover. People that be with me for a long time know I'm like that. I pick up energy real fast. So, you know, I like his energy. I like his energy. So we're gonna play some of his stuff today. And y'all let me know how you feel about it.
Like that is because it leaves all of us vulnerable to being deceived by false or incorrect reporting about the events. When it came to the George Zimmerman trial, I watched every minute of that trial and all the pretrial proceedings. When it came to the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, I watched every minute of it. You cannot lie to me about what happened in those trials because I saw it with my own eyes. I heard every word.
Right.
But we can be lied to about the Karmelo Anthony trial because we weren't allowed to see it.
And right there is just one reason why the whole country is at war over this case right now. Because on one side, you have people saying the fix was in from day one. He was doomed before he ever stepped one foot into that courtroom. The witnesses lied on the stand, and we didn't even get to see
Oh yeah, I
it.
pick up
Then
on
you have
energy,
others on
Christina.
the
Yes,
other side of the
sir.
fence saying he got
Most
exactly
definitely.
what he deserved. Murder is murder. As the results of this case have already started to pick up national media attention, being talked about on The View and even Fox News. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, y'all. As we get ready to get into this video, man, you already know a few things. You know that Karmelo and Austin got into it. Karmelo stabbed Austin. Now Karmelo has been found guilty of murder and is currently on his 35-year sentence. A bombshell update just dropped, and now Karmelo Anthony has a powerhouse pro bono team ready to appeal any legal steps that took place in this case. This case has so many inconsistencies. Karmelo was surrounded, he was jumped, he was the aggressor, he was stirring up trouble, talking trash, but nothing went down until Hunter and Austin got under that tent. We're going to tap into 3 videos. We're going to check out some comments, and I'm going to show y'all why a lot of people out there feel like the fix was in from the jump. But first, we're going to start with Alley Cat on TikTok. Then we're going to get into H American, and then we're going to finish up with Secret Service Sam. But before we do any of that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching this video right here, right now, from a cell phone, I need you to stop. I need you to go down and I need you to hit the hype button so more people will see this video, especially if you enjoyed it. Alley Cat, without further ado, my mom, it's right back on you. Let's get into it.
There's so much bothering me about this Karmelo Anthony trial. There are videos out like this.
This kid is sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see.
Now, in that video, you hear Hunter clearly say it was him and Austin going at Karmelo. You also hear him say that Austin grabbed Carmelo's bag.
Right.
But no witness testified to that.
Facts.
The defense didn't ask anybody about that.
Facts.
Like,
Right.
what in the hell is going on? So you mean to tell me that Austin walked up 5 bleacher rows to get to Karmelo? He was yelling at Karmelo.
Right.
Him, his brother, and his friend were standing over Karmelo, and Karmelo was the aggressor in the situation.
First things first, man. Let's be real about it. A kid telling another kid what to do never goes well. Just remember when you was in 2nd grade and another kid tried to tell you what to do, what you say? "You not my mama. You not the teacher. You."
He ain't lying about that, because my kids done said that many times. "Mama, this child was trying to tell me something to do," and I told him, "They not my mama, don't tell me nothing." So he ain't lying about that.
You're not the principal. You're not my grandma. You're not my daddy. You are not a person of authority. The second part is right. Now just imagine walking up 5 rows of bleachers and then somebody else being the aggressor. Not to mention the one thing that we did get to read in the transcript when they're bringing up Karmelo's response of "touch me" and see what happens is it stated that Austin told Karmelo, move or I'll beat your bitch ass. How would you expect another 17-year-old to respond to that?
That's facts.
Not only that, where the hell were the adults in the situation?
Y'all, how many times I'm gonna say that? How many times I said that? Where was the damn adults? But ain't nobody gonna hold them accountable for not being around with them kids. Because they were still kids. I don't give a damn if they was in high school. They still was kids. Someone should have been there instead of going around looking for a goddamn crock pot like you was having a damn cookout in the rain.
Where were the coaches?
Carmelo,
You said the same thing I just said, getting a crock pot.
Although Austin is yelling at him, Austin is walking towards him. Austin grabs his bag, according to his brother,
right,
and then grabs him by the shoulder and shove him. But Carmelo is the aggressor in this situation.
Come on.
Like, I don't understand any of it. Like how the girl testified that she don't know Austin, that she don't know Carmelo. However, she know that it's not about race. You don't know how Austin or Carmelo feel. So how can you say you know for sure this isn't about race? How can you say that you didn't see what actually took place because you were watching the event on the track, but you know that this was not self-defense? Like, y'all, none of this shit is making sense to me. I am sorry, y'all. This trial has aggravated me. I am taking a 1 week break from trials, y'all. Listen, when I have more updates, I'll let y'all know. The family do have ways that y'all can help them.
But the irony in all of that is the moment that everybody starts to take a little step back for a second and let the appellate team do what they do, this case is starting to get more national attention. The ladies on The View were just talking about it a couple of days ago. And again, even Fox News picked it up. So mainstream America is now joining in on the conversation.
Yeah, they could consider that as robbery, but you know they wasn't going to do that.
And to be honest, when we call members of the new media, people like Keisha here on YouTube. Then you got No Cap with Freezy here on YouTube. You also got House of Hypocrites here on YouTube. They are staying on people's necks by doing reactions, pointing out blatant inconsistencies in this case, bringing experts onto their platform, and people are picking sides like crazy. Let's go quick to point out and highlight a few comments from Ali Kat's video.
He ain't lying about that. People picking sides. And that's in any big case that you cover. People pick sides. That is so true. He right. That's why I stay in my own lane. He ain't never lied about that.
Video. The first comment from Ali Kat's video comes from Ken with the twin, who says the law was not used to send Karmelo to prison. Next up, we have Samra, who says his attorney failed him. She kept it short and sweet. Then we have a woman named Snuggles. She says he was guilty in their eyes from the jump. I hope his appeal is fair. And lastly, we have another commenter named Sweetie, who says, I'm so confused about everything. There's so much information out here. Somebody please help me understand. And that right there is exactly why we're here. If you are still here with me right now, that means you're rocking with the content. Go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the hype button so more people can see it and comment just like you. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into H American's video and see what he has to say. H American is right back on you, so let's get it.
If I have any criticism of the judge, it's that the judge did not allow the trial to be televised. And the reason I don't like that is because it leaves all of us vulnerable to being deceived by false or incorrect reporting about the events. You know, when it came to the George Zimmerman trial, I watched every minute of that trial and all the pretrial proceedings. When it came to the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, I watched every minute of it. You cannot lie to me what happened in those trials, because I saw it with my own eyes. I heard every word. Yeah. But we can be lied to about the Karmelo Anthony trial because we weren't allowed to see it. Now, I can understand the judge wanting to clamp down on pre-trial publicity and not get the jury pool tainted, but once the jury seated, I think the American people had a right to watch those proceedings.
Right. And not gonna do him not wanting to have a media spectacle, a circus over there, but to this case was going be talked about
That's
regardless. Right. And when you keep the public out, the televised media out, you know people are going to speculate because you cannot see nor call out things that you do not see. We can't call out the mishaps. We can't point out the missteps. We cannot hold these witnesses accountable that are going up there, getting on the stand and completely changing their initial statement that they made to the police that they're now saying on the stand.
And one of the things that really upsets me is we didn't get to watch in real time this kind of testimony. Now, Matt Walsh here is reciting
prosecution. You had a few
from the key witness, the witness for the defense that was supposed to make the case of self-defense. Karmelo Anthony was surrounded by attackers. Of course, he had to use a knife. And this is how that testimony actually
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that?
went. He's reciting like from a transcript here.
Prosecution, you had a few things wrong when we talked. Is that right? Witness, yes, sir. Prosecution, your initial statement to police that you saw Karmelo Anthony surrounded had to be after the stabbing. Witness, yes. Prosecution, you had a story in your head when we visited, correct? Witness, yes. Prosecution, and when you saw the video, your eyes were open to what actually happened. Is that right? Witness, yes. Prosecution, my impression when we first met, you thought when you saw people surrounding Karmelo Anthony, it was before the stabbing. Witness, yes, sir. Prosecution, that was actually after the stabbing. Witness, I couldn't really tell. Prosecution, when you and I met, you told me you thought it was before the stabbing. Witness, I thought it was as the stabbing was happening. Prosecution, you know you're wrong. Witness, yes, sir. Prosecutors then played surveillance video from the stadium that showed the witness was not looking at the Memorial High School tent at the time of the stabbing. Prosecution, have you learned how your mind can play tricks on you? Witness, yes, sir. Prosecution, you didn't have a knife on you. Witness, no, sir. Prosecution, have you ever been under another team's tent? Witness, no, sir. Prosecution, if you had been on another team's tent and they asked you to leave, would you? Witness, yes, sir.
These questions was to hang Karmelo, y'all. The questions that he asked these people, whoever this witness was, this was to hang Karmelo. They had already talked to this witness, and the witness was going back on a little some things, you know what I'm saying? Because you can tell he was bringing them up to speed of what he told the state. That's what he was doing. He was coaching them right there in front of the judge's face. That's exactly what they was doing.
Me, that ain't crazy. This witness on this stand,
exactly, leading the witnesses. Exactly, that's exactly what he was doing. And I know damn well that judge seen that. He didn't care. He didn't care. He seen that.
Sounds more like the prosecutors prepped them than Karmelo's own defense team. Tell me that's not wild to y'all. Not only that, my daughter ran track in high school. These kids know each other. They be going under each tents. They might not be there and stay there the whole time, but they know each other because they compete against each other in other sports all year. You got.
And I told y'all that when my daughters was in high school and they was in the band, that's what happened. They'll go under other tents, talk to the other students because they know these kids. And not only because they know these kids because they was in the band, they knew these kids from the neighborhood. You know, all the kids didn't go to the same schools. They went to different schools. So they knew these kids. But they was under different tents talking until practice started. But here, they had all the tents named by the schools. But the kids was everywhere talking. They was everywhere until the practice started. So he's absolutely right.
So you got volleyball, football, basketball. You got all these different sports that these kids are playing all year leading up to track season and baseball season. They know each other. So they speak to each other. Right. Sometimes they be under each other's tent. It's really not a big deal. I personally have never seen anybody else complain about it. Go ahead and get back to it because I know a lot of people are going to get hung up on that. Well, you're not supposed to be under there. This is this. Listen, these athletic events are social events. These kids know each other. They're going to speak to each other. They're going to politic. It just is what it is. Right. Let's get back to it.
He went to the police with a first-hand account of what happened, an account in which Karmelo Anthony was surrounded under the tent by a bunch of students threatening to attack him. It's revealed by the surveillance footage, the same footage that everyone told us would be irrelevant to the trial, that actually this witness wasn't even looking at the tent when Metcalf was killed. The crowd that he saw in the tent in reality was Metcalf's teammates gathering around him and trying to save his life after Anthony stabbed him through the heart. So the witness has no credibility whatsoever, backtracked on everything he said. Really, they should be charging him with investigation. Nothing he said, including his claim that Anthony said, I told him not to touch me, and his claim that Anthony was distraught after the killing, should be taken seriously. I mean, he just admitted on the stand that his mind was playing trick. Okay, now
Facts.
seen that
Yes.
and
Right.
that cross-examination and that impeachment and that recanting of these false claims that Karmelo Anthony did, and that's why he had to defend himself with an act. We should have seen that in real time. The
Facts.
entire world should have seen it in real time, and we couldn't.
Hold on.
I started a business to give old clothes a new life, and Chase has supported me from the beginning.
See it in real time.
Y'all gotta let me know what y'all think about that, and y'all gotta let me know if you agree with him, man. Imagine
I
if you
agree with
saw
him
that in
100%.
real time. What would you have said, and would you have called out his defense team? Please let me know down in the comments. I'm gonna jump into a couple of the comments that stood out to me, and then we're gonna transition over to Secret Service Sam. Did Eddie set Karmelo up before we get up out of here? All right, y'all. The first comment up comes from Tamala Y. York, who says, I knew something was off when they had court on a Saturday. When have they ever had court on a weekend? When and why? And that's not the first time I heard that either. Everybody was wondering why they had the court case going on the weekend. But next up, we have Lux in Order, who states, well, now we know that witnesses lied during the state's cross. That's a fact. Next up, we have a comment coming from Becoming Me, who says the lawyer was leading with yes and no questions and asked him a question that you can only answer with expert background. You got 3 comments coming from 3 completely different angles, all pointing to the conclusion. Something was off in that courtroom. But listen, before we get up out of here, we got one last video. A lot of people feel like Karmelo Anthony was up. We're going to tap into a Secret Service and video who breaks down the Eddie portion of the case.
Secrets around of a lot of the alleged witnesses in the case barbecuing together. Now, people have said that Eddie, one of the friends,
They didn't have a right.
the twins, who is the one who allegedly called Karmelo Anthony over to the tent, is also the one who said that Karmelo was the aggressor. Now, after his witness statement said they were bigger, started it, pretty much everything down
was on the stand, it was Eddie, the same person who acted like he didn't know Karmelo Anthony that well until pictures came out showing them hanging out on multiple occasions. Not only that, Karmelo Anthony was dating Eddie girl best friend, and that's just another portion that we did not get to see, to be able to call these people out, ask them why they recanted on the stand and why they changed their story. At the time, Karmelo Anthony was 5'8", 130 pounds, and then you have Hunter and Austin, who are both at least 6 feet and a little bit over 200 pounds each, surrounding Karmelo Anthony. But now you're switching your story up. Come on, bro, we gotta make it make sense.
And here's an interesting point I just want to make. Eddie appears to be the only black person in a group of all white friends, right? And this is something that, you know, we see all the time, where just because you think they're friends, or, you know, most of these groups, it allows, they say the N-word, they say race stuff, and they're like, we're not racist because Eddie's our friend.
Right.
But Eddie allegedly betrayed Karmelo in the worst way.
Yes.
Right. Now, was this barbecue for all of them to get their story straight before the trial? And one thing interesting about this picture, which I won't post because they're minors, is there's a prom photo of all them together and Eddie is there. But at this barbecue, Eddie is not there. Eddie was not included.
Damn.
So let that be a lesson. Also, we know that Eddie allegedly took cell
So they
phone-
used Eddie just for the trial, y'all. Now they don't want to be Eddie fucking friend no more. How hilarious is that? Eddie, I hope you learned your lesson.
footage of the entire interaction. So where is that footage? You can get footage from a Nokia phone from early 2000s. They can get this footage. I will always be here exposing the truth behind the headlines on the front line. Secret Service Sam out Samson for president.
Damn, Eddie, man, you thought you was a part of the crew. They left your ass out, man. Kicked you out like Old Yeller. Get out of here, Old Yeller. Get out of here. Kicked your ass right on up out of there. Did and invite you to the barbecue. How cliche is that? Let's
Yes.
go ahead and head to the big screen so we can get ready to get up out of here, man. Listen, y'all have to let me know exactly what y'all think about this down in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, man. Listen, again, hit that high
No,
button.
sis, he ain't
Hit
let
that
them
high
at the he
button.
ain't let them at the
Hit that high
barbecue.
button. Let's go ahead and get up out of here, man. This right here is Champ Talk Actions. We throw the peace sign up, we turn it sideways, and we're gonna get on up out of here. Peace.
All right, hold on, y'all. Okay. Yeah, he ain't let him to the. Listen, sis, they only used him. They used him for the court process. You know what I'm saying? They got what they want out of him and all that shit. So they didn't. You know, sis, come on, we know the shit. You know when people really want to use you, and once they get what they want from you, you no longer, you know, you no longer have benefits. You don't benefit them no more. You know. Now, yeah, I don't know if I want to play this one right here, right? I don't know. I felt some type of way about this one right here, but I don't know. I don't know. Y'all want me to play it? Because I did feel some type of way about this one. Y'all want me to play it or not? Salute to the family. Hey! What's going on, King? Oh my God, you had me dying laughing over there yesterday. You had me cracking up. I love your commentary, baby. I love it, love it, love it. I was daydreaming. What he said about Eddie. He said that Eddie was used for the trial. That was it. They didn't even want Eddie to come to the cookout, he said. Eddie was not invited to the cookout. Everybody else was invited to the cookout, but Eddie was not invited to the cookout. Yeah. So he was saying, and you know, basically Eddie was just being used to take the stand to go against Karmelo, but he was not invited to the cookout. That's what he said about Eddie. Now, y'all, I'm gonna play this video, but I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think about it. Y'all give me y'all opinion. I really didn't want to play it because I did feel some type of way about it, but y'all let me know what y'all think about it. I'll let y'all be the judge of this one right here. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Let me get it to the beginning, and y'all y'all just tell me what you think about it. Hold on.
You bring everyone together to get them on the same
All
page
right.
and let them know that this case will revolve around one person, Jeff Metcalf, the father. So when Carmelo's mother heard
Cameron,
what
hey,
Jeff said
baby.
about her son, what do you
Yes.
think that this lady did?
43.
She handed the microphone at a press conference to the baby shaking minister of justice.
Damn.
At that press conference where Jeff Metcalf showed up to pray with the family, the baby shaking minister called the police and had Jeff kicked out.
This video right here from the lead attorney was 11 months ago, way before the Karmelo Anthony trial even started. An attorney with over
Now,
20 years.
y'all, I don't know if y'all know this attorney, but he's an attorney. He's on YouTube, been on YouTube for a long time, but he don't go live no more. He only do like a little videos here and there, but he is a real attorney. Now, what he's about ready to say in this video, y'all, he said this 11 months prior, way before the trial, right? So I'm playing it because I want y'all to give me y'all opinion and how y'all feel about it. But this was not after the trial. This was 11 months before the trial. So y'all tell me how y'all feel. Hello, Miss D. Hey, sweetie.
Years of experience, sat down and basically predicted step by step exactly how this Karmelo Anthony case was going to unfold, and boy was he spot on. We got to break it down. We got to react to it right here, right now. Let's get into it. What's good, Champ Talk family? For those of y'all just tuning in, Karmelo Anthony was convicted of murdering Austin Metcalf at the Frisco track meet back in 2025. This past week, the jury came back after only 3 hours of deliberation, and he was guilty of murder. Sentencing was just a few hours later, and guess what? They gave him 35 years. And his team has already taken steps to start the appeal process. Now, here is why this old video matters. The lead attorney broke this down almost to a T. How the family's handling of this case, the spokesperson that they chose right from the jump, the way Karmelo Anthony's family responded to Austin Metcalf's father, he said that all of that was going to cost Karmelo Anthony more years, not the facts from the case, but the optics. We're here to talk about it. I need y'all to drop down and hit that like button for me, and then I need you to go ahead and hit the hype button for me. Without further ado, lead attorney, it's right back on you, so let's get it.
Many of you were surprised at a point that I made in my last video on how Karmelo Anthony's family has actually costed Karmelo extra years in prison. So many extra years. You wanted me to expound on that further because you had not heard anyone make that point. Well, that's why I'm here. I'm giving you the perspective, not of a YouTuber reacting to news, but of an attorney who's practiced for more than 20 years. This is behind the scenes info. So let's get to it. Now, let me explain on how Karmelo's mother basically sentenced her own son, Karmelo, to an extra 10 to 30 more years in prison and what she can do about it now to try to fix it. I explained in my last video that Karmelo's mother apparently hired a family spokesperson, one Dominique Alexander. This Dominique calls himself a minister of justice, whatever that is. Dominique is a convicted felon. He's alleged to have beaten his girlfriend. Then he got a new girlfriend. And when that girlfriend left out of the apartment, the good minister grabbed that woman's 2-year-old baby and shook him until that baby got brain damage. The good minister pled guilty in that case to felony charges and was in prison. Now, this is the man that Karmelo's mom chose to speak on Karmelo and the family's behalf. The good baby shaking minister. The minister did exactly what you would expect a convicted felon to do when handling Karmelo's case. He absolutely destroyed it. How? He ostracized the most important person in Karmelo's case. Now, who is that? Is that the judge? No. Is that the prosecutor? No. The most important person alive in Karmelo's case is actually Jeff Metcalf, the father of the young man that Karmelo Anthony killed, Austin Metcalf.
I know that some of y'all in the comments are gonna be like, did you see that racist ass video that Jeff Metcalf dropped last week calling Karmelo Anthony a watermelon felon and talking bad about the family? For sure, I seen the same video, but you guys have to remember right now that this video is from 11 months ago, before all that. So you have to put yourself back in that moment, back in that mindset before any of the trial happened, before the verdict. And I'm with the lead on this one. Why the hell would you hire somebody like this, a person with this type of background, to be the spokesperson for a case like this?
The father, Jeff Metcalf, is the linchpin to Karmelo's entire future. Let me tell you that in a murder case where the victim is gone, the case lives on through the victim's next of kin. When a parent has to bury his child, everyone looks to that parent to gauge how to react. Judges consciously and subconsciously look at the parent's facial expression when they're testifying on the witness stand. Prosecutors run all their plea offers through the parents. Reporters knock on the parents' doors for statements, and they aim their cameras at the parents when the verdicts drop. And the jurors, oh my goodness, the jurors hang on every word of the parents. Notice every little movement, every gesture. In this case, Jeff Metcalf, the father, is not just a spectator in the case. He's the conscience of the entire community. If you win Jeff, you win all the sympathy. But if you alienate him, you can go to prison for life.
Damn. Basically what he's trying to say, the mother should have tried to have a conversation with Jeff, with the father, at the day of the event, when he came in the event. because her son's hands was in Austin's father's. Well, her son's freedom was in the hands of Austin's father, right? So he felt like when they put him out, didn't let him stay there, didn't have a conversation with him, called the police on him, it was up and stuck from there. And y'all can tell me how y'all feel about it.
Now, months ago, Jeff Metcalf, the father, he did something unthinkable. Reporters, as they always do, shoved a microphone in this grieving father's face and asked him, how do you feel about this Karmelo Anthony? Do you know what he said? Jeff Metcalf said, and I quote, you know what? I've already forgiven this person. Already. Now, that is amazing.
Now, he might think that's amazing, and I'm not going to take away how he feels, but I'm going to speak for me. I want to know if I could trust him or not. Because anybody, you know how many people in this world today that say they forgive you and turn around and stab you right in your motherfucking back? Or you can do bad things to them or say something bad about them and y'all talked about it and y'all forgave each other and they turn around 2 weeks later and talk about it again. So, I mean, the parent might have said that he forgave the parents, but could the parents really believe that? For one, she know her son unalive, his son. So would the mother really put in her heart that he really forgave her? I don't think I would have bought that. That's just me as a parent. If my child would unalive somebody said that they forgave me, I took that with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? So that's just me.
Amazing. It's amazing that Jeff would have the strength that, because I would be incapable of that. The maturity, the wisdom, the strength, I just would not have it. Now, that baby shaking minister is not going to know this, but when a father makes a statement like that, a statement of forgiveness, the entire Karmelo team has to drop everything. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Your entire legal strategy has to change.
Damn, leaders, like at this moment, it should have been an audible on the play. Listen, just got to lay up. We have to switch the strategy. We have to be able to adjust on the fly. We see what guy here, he came out and said that he forgives the family. It's time to shift the focus.
I can tell you as an attorney that you call an emergency meeting with all the lawyers, all the family, maybe PR consultants if the family has means for that. You bring everyone together to get them on the same page and let them know that it will revolve around one person, Jeff Metcalf, the father. So when Karmelo's mother heard what Jeff said about her son, what do you think that this lady did? She handed the microphone at a press conference to the baby shaking minister of justice. And at that press conference, where Jeff Metcalf showed up to pray with the family, the baby shaking minister called the police and had Jeff kicked out. Like, can you believe it? They kicked Metcalf, who left with the family. At that press conference where Jeff Metcalf showed up to pray with the family, the baby shaking minister called the police and had Jeff kicked out. Like, can you believe it? They kicked Jeff Metcalf, who came there to pray. They kicked him out of the press conference.
This might be the moment where Karmelo Anthony's sentence just went up from 10 to 25 years extra on whatever they were going to give him. The lead attorney already put it out there. This case was not going to come down to just the facts. It was also going to come down to the optics. On one end, you have Jeff Metcalf publicly forgiving you, showing up to pray with the family, and you guys call the police on him and have him removed.
Well, at the time, he never... Now, I don't know if he told them and now he forgave the family. I don't know that. This is what the lawyer said. I never heard him say that he forgave the family. You know, so I don't know if he truly forgave the family. I don't know if he really came there to pray. I don't know. Maybe he should have took the guy that was there for the family. What's his name, y'all? Dominique. Maybe he should have took him to the side and talked to him instead of just standing there. You know, because let's be honest, they probably didn't even know his intentions at that time because he was just standing there. You know, he should have went to the guy, pulled him to the side, you know, and talked to him and let him know what he was there for, you know, and maybe, you know, not kick him out. But he was just standing there with shades on. That's what I seen. I didn't see him talk to nobody. I just seen him standing there with shades on. So, I mean, what would they think? Now, he said that he forgave them. Y'all let me know if y'all heard it, because I never heard that, so I don't know.
In the court of public opinion, you can chalk that up to another strike against the family.
The entire spectacle went viral.
I'm not going to use it as a strike against the family because we don't know what his intentions was. We don't know that. We don't know. What I seen him do is come in and he was standing there with his shades. I never seen him talk to nobody, so I don't know what his intention was, you know? And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, well, if he would talk to the family, he probably would have got less time. I can't say that because I don't know that neither. Now, this is what the attorney is saying. I'm not going to say that because I don't know. Maybe, you know, he got his reasons for saying this as being an attorney. Maybe this have happened in cases before that he have covered. I don't know.
Viral within an hour. Karmelo Anthony's prison sentence was prolonged by 10 to 25 years within that same hour. Now, why do I say that? What did the family show Jeff in that instance? Jeff, the father. They showed Jeff that there was no remorse. They showed Jeff that there would be no mutual prayers. There would be no reconciliation. Showed that man nothing but hostility and aggression. The same hostility, the same aggression maybe that was at that track meet that fateful afternoon, that was under that tent. Some of you are not going to appreciate how important this father is. You just don't know how these criminal sentences work. I see your comments on YouTube and Twitter. You think, oh, this person killed that person, so put the killer in prison and throw away the key. Put him there for life. That's what you guys say. You have no idea. I will tell you that people kill people all the time, and the sentences range from insanity on the low end to insanity on the high end. Now, who controls where the...
She said, fuck Jeff. Jeff ain't God. Absolutely. And girl, I'm glad you said it, because guess what? I don't know. I don't take everybody's prayers now. Fuck that. Because some people pray for you, honey, and they'll be against you like a son of a gun. I don't want everybody prayers. I'm just gonna be honest.
The sentence is gonna fall. At the end of the day, it is the sentiment of the community that will decide. And in this case, Jeff Metcalf is at the center of that entire community.
Hey, that's a lot to think about so far, man. At the moment, what I need y'all,
and that's what I'm saying, sis. So you know what I'm saying. I you know, he just stood there and didn't say anything. So you're right about that, Cameron. No one knows what his intentions was. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I mean, this attorney got to understand one thing too, especially all the riding past in their houses and the death threats and, you know, how many times they had to move and, you know, and this press conference was about, you know, they was coming out and talking about the lies that people was telling on them about, they was taking the money, buying houses, buying cars, and all of that stuff. That's what this press conference was about. And it was also about how they was threatening the lives of the mother and the father and the children, you know? And again, you is right, Cameron. No one really knows what his intentions really was, you know? Why didn't he pull the guy to the side and say, you know, can we have a conversation and let it go from there, you know? But from what I seen, I just seen him stand there in his glasses, you know, and then after that, the police approached him. So I didn't never really, you know, I don't know. I didn't see him talk to nobody. I agree with y'all. Jeff owes the Austin family an apology. Oh, okay. Anthony family apology for raising a bully. Facts. Yeah, I agree.
If you still rocking, you still here, I need you to go ahead and hit that like button. I need you to go ahead and hit the hype button, and I need you to drop a comment down in the.
That's a good question. Why did he use that moment to make peace? Yeah, that's true. I agree. And maybe he could have got in contact with the guy Dominique behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Before this press conference, if he knew it was going to be a press conference on that day, I don't know. Or he could have did it, behind the scenes still and say, listen, can we, have a conversation? We all get together. We have a meeting. Set it up with the guy Dominique. Maybe Dominique would have did it. Maybe he wouldn't have did it. Maybe he would have ran across the mother and the father. Maybe the mother and father would have did it. Maybe they wouldn't have did it. I don't know. I can't speak for them because I don't know where their mindset was at. But I'm just saying ways that, he could have did it instead of just walking up like that.
Comment section and let me know what you think about this video so far. Do you think the lead attorney called this right? And do you think if they saw this video that the lead attorney posted almost a year ago, that maybe they would have changed their strategy and the outcome could have been different?
Now, let's do this. Let's suppose it is your first day of law school and I am your criminal law professor. I'm going to tell you some quick facts and you tell me the sentence that you would give in this scenario if you were the jury, if you were the judge. But first, and this is important, put right now for the record.
She said in the video where Jeff called Karmelo a watermelon felon about 2 minutes before that, he said he forgive Karmelo. Yes, I heard that video. I remember that. Yes, right. I think Jeff was the one who ran because he knew his son for the aggressive. Jeff had a good intentions. He knew. Hey man, I can't see your other comment. That's why I say I'm not gonna blame everything on the parents because the parents didn't let him stay there. I mean, you don't know what nobody's intentions was. They could have been afraid. I mean, come on, they could have been afraid because look what they know what their son, a possibility did. I mean, I would have been afraid. If a parents walked up where I'm at and I know what my son just did to your child, I'm gonna feel some type of way. Meaning I'm gonna be scared. I'm not gonna know what their intentions are. So yeah. They said Jeff was bullying people in the courtroom. Oh, I seen that video, sis. I don't know where I seen it. I gotta find the girl. I don't care for the head lead attorney. You don't care for him, Auntie? Yeah, I've been stopped watching him too. I stopped watching him after the Cardi B. She said the lead attorney don't know what to do. They was getting all kinds of bad advice. Yes, they was. They was. They, and you know what? They probably didn't even know who to trust, who to talk to. You're right. You're right. They was. They was getting all kind of advice from people. Their head probably was doing a 360 every day. They probably kept headaches. They didn't know who to trust. Who to talk to. People was giving them all kind of advice, telling them do this, do that. Don't talk to this person. Don't talk to that person. I mean, come on. When you got so many people in your ear, sometimes you don't know which way to go. You don't know if you're going or coming. You just sitting here trying to make the best, decision that you can make. So yeah, I agree with you, sis, on that comment. I definitely agree. I don't blame them. No, I don't. Right, Auntie. Right.
You think Karmelo should be sentenced to in the comments? Put it below.
Now, we already know the verdict because it came down last week, but leading up to the trial, I didn't think he was going to get convicted of murder, so I thought
Now, did I think that he was going to get convicted of murder? No. Manslaughter? Yes. Me and Open Book, we prayed for that every day behind the scenes. We prayed for that, right? We damn sure did. Now, do I think if the Austin father would have talked to them, it would have changed the courtroom mind? I don't think so. That's just my opinion. I think he came there for a purpose to see what was being said, what was going to go on, so he can go back and splurge it, when the case was over, when it was time for him to talk, because they couldn't talk at that time, and shit. So he was waiting for everything to be over. But do I think this would have changed the judge's mind and all that? I doubt it. I don't think so. No. And that's just my
manslaughter
opinion.
or involuntary manslaughter, and he will get a.
You correct, Roy D. How your content is always available to comment, but I likes. Yes, yeah. I don't think that it would have changed their opinion. No, I think they already had it out for this boy. I I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. I don't think nothing would have changed. I think he came there to see what he can see, hear what he can hear, and when this case was over, he would have put a, oh yeah, when I went to the press conference, they said this, they said that, they treated me like this, they treated me like that. You know, they like they didn't want to talk to me, but they talked to me. I didn't feel like they was honest about this. They was honest about that. It's something I still feel that he would have said. That's just me thinking, y'all, and I could be wrong, but that's just me thinking. I still feel he would have dogged his family out, and he would have said things that wasn't true. That Dominique probably would have to come out here and correct. You know what I'm saying? Because he looked like that evil person, just like his damn twins. Shit.
Around 10 years.
Now, here is the quiz. I want everybody to take it. Here's the first case, 4 cases. A 16-year-old in Texas, basically the same age and state of Karmelo. He gets hammered, consuming alcohol, consuming drugs. He does the whole thing. He gets behind the wheel of a vehicle. Of course, he gets to an accident. Now, the thing, he kills 4 people. He intentionally gets hammered and gets cooked, and then he takes 4 lives. Now, little law student of mine, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to determine how many years in prison you would give him. Ready? Go. And while you are considering your sentence, just know that in this case, the affluenza case, if you're old enough to remember, this young man, he took 4 lives. But how many years did the judge give him? Well, the judge gave him 10 years for taking 4 lives. 10 years. But here's the kicker. It wasn't 10 years of prison. The judge gave him 10 years of straight probation. This man took 4 lives and got a straight probationary sentence.
No, his bitch ass should have been gone for life. Yeah. 4 lives and you get 10 years probation. His bitch ass should have been gone for life. Okay? Yeah. Maybe including the lecture chair with it.
Day in prison.
17 years old, drinking underage, gets behind the wheel, takes 4 lives in the crash, and gets 10 years probation in the same state of Texas. Let that sink in, y'all.
Did you guess it? Did you guess 0 years?
Nah.
Here is the second of 4 scenarios.
Okay.
A football
and
player.
What that have to do with Karmelo's father and mother having a conversation with this evil motherfucker? That has nothing to do with it. Okay? Maybe this man right here that got the little 10 years probation, you know, maybe he had a white judge. That's probably why he got it. Because they got nothing to do with why Karmelo father and mother did not speak to this racist man.
Gets hammered just the same. He gets into his Bentley. He's an NFL player and starts speeding. Of course, he runs over a guy, kills him dead. How many years in prison did this NFL player get for the killing?
Life.
Now the victim is gone forever. You got 5 seconds to guess. How many years? And while you are considering how many years, all you football fans know that Mike Vick, the quarterback of the great Atlanta Falcons, got 2 years in prison for dog fighting. That's 2 years in prison for dogs. How many years did this NFL player get for actually killing a man? That's right. Dante Stallworth gets hammered, gets in his car, and kills a man in the street. He gets 30 days in the county jail. No prison at all. Just 30 days in jail. Mike,
but I want to know what this got to do with Karmelo. That's what I want to know. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button for me, please. Even the trolls, y'all can hit the like button too. You're welcome. Thank you.
2 years in prison for dogs. Now, my little law student, you ask, well, how can that be? What happened in that case? Well, I'll tell you. Dante Stallworth showed extreme remorse. He apologized. And most importantly, he reached a financial settlement with the family. Dante went into his pocket and got the family on his side. Now, let me ask you, did Karmelo Anthony's family do that? Dante slid the victim's family some money. Karmelo Anthony's family got over $500,000. Did Carmelo's mom do any of that? Did the mom even offer to pay for the funeral?
That's a good point right there.
I don't think that's a good point. No. Well, maybe he thinks it is. But they didn't get all that money. That's why people is failing to realize. Once they found that boy guilty, they shut that counter down. She paid for the attorney and everything, and they shut it down. The mother was not able to get all that money. I mean, y'all tell me in the chat. If y'all had a family member or friend or anything that unalived somebody, will y'all ask them to pay for their funeral? Just tell me what y'all feel. They need to stop with this bullshit. Facts, sis. Karmelo Anthony mom and dad said that they didn't buy him a weapon. And Jeff Melcast, he bought Austin and Hunter a pocket weapon. Yes. He's saying that the court is racist. Right. So what do y'all think? What do y'all think about what he just said about the funeral?
I didn't even think about that. And I'm sure a lot of people probably wouldn't have in this situation. Not just the aspect of showing remorse, but also reaching out to the family to say, hey, this is something that neither one of us expected. At least allow us a chance to help with the funeral arrangement.
Guys, I'm going to tell you, you do not know there are
I love your comments, sis. I love it. And I will agree with you 1,000. So, that's saying that he admitted that he did it and he's guilty, and they could have used that also against him in court. The way his attorney did him, they would have definitely used that against him in court. Yeah, she admitted it, you know. She offered to pay. She paid for, half of Austin's funeral and this and that. Good comment, sis. Good comment. Like that. Yes. Because that daddy would have ran that in the hole. Okay? And I believe in my heart that they would use that against Karmelo in court. Yeah. Yep.
Many levels to criminal law. Now, let's get back to this Karmelo Anthony dumpster fire. A guy gets mad at his wife, and rightly so. He thinks that she's cheating on him.
That's what I'm saying too. Why is they pocket watching somebody else's money? Like, who does that? I can't stand when people do that, y'all. They sit back there, they had all this money and they doing this. How the fuck you know? Listen, I told y'all before, I care about nobody's pocketbooks and I care about no man's wallets. That's none of my concern. And I don't care about inside their households. Like, who think that deep to be trying to look in somebody's pocketbook and see what they got? Try to look in a man's wallet and see what he got. Or look in someone's house and see how they living. Like, who does all of that? Like, get yourself together.
He goes and loads up his shotgun. He goes outside where she's standing. Now, she's unarmed and she's recording him on her phone. He cocks the shotgun and points it directly at her teeth. He says, all right, goodbye. You are going to meet Jesus. And then he blows away. She's unarmed and in Texas. Do you know who else was unarmed? Do you know who else was in Texas? That's right. Anthony Metcalf, Carmelo's victim. Now, the jury in the case with the husband gave that man just 10 years in prison. And he is eligible for parole.
Well, at least you admit that Texas is racist. At least you admit that without saying it, but we get you. We got it.
for only 5 years. Think about it. 5 years in prison for a straight up killing.
Right.
I am positive that every single one of you would have said, lock him up for life, lock him up forever. She's a woman. She was unarmed. She didn't even hit him. And he only got 10 years with maybe 5 years to serve. Now you ask, well, Professor Lee, why so little time? Well, the defense team in that case did a great job of humanizing the husband, humanizing the killer, and getting the jury on his side. The jury did hate the killer. In Karmelo's case, do you think the jury would hate Karmelo if Austin's father, Jeff, pleaded with the jury for mercy, pleaded with the jury for grace, is seen praying and reconciling and crying with the Karmelo family? Everyone in that courtroom would be crying, listening to Jeff's victim impact statement. The judge would be crying. The bailiffs would be crying. The attorneys would be crying.
Exactly.
The jury.
They don't wash their
Believe
pockets.
me,
Nope.
everyone in
I agree.
that courthouse would have their eyes full of tears. At the end of the day, we are all human. Karmelo would have been spared. He would have not gotten a lot of time. You can absolutely get.
Well, I'm glad you think like that and you feel like that, but at least you are telling us, you know, if he would have cooperated with the racist ass father, you know, he would have got less time, because that's basically what I feel like you're saying. You know what I'm saying? And the judge would have liked it that, you know, because they came to common grounds, they had meetings, they had conversations and things like that. And the racist dad forgave the family and, you know, those sort of things, you know. So Karmelo would have got less time, you know, with this racist dad. You know, if they would have gave the dad what they wanted, that was conversation. I get what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. You're letting us know they are racist. The courtroom racist, the father was racist, and the family would have stuck with Austin's father, you know, that could have helped him with his time. I get what you're saying. I got you.
Get a judge and jury on your side. You just have to know how to do it.
Damn, that's a version of this case that never had a chance to exist from the beginning. First, you hired the baby shaking mentor. Y'all called the police on Jeff Metcalf, and by the end of the trial, Karmelo's mother is the one on the stand pleading for grace, pleading for leniency.
And I feel like, let me tell y'all something. I feel like he shouldn't have brung up the guy past. You know, if you want to talk about him, talk about him. You know, I feel like he shouldn't have bring up his past, saying he's the shaking man, shaking a baby and all that shit, whatever he said. I feel like that was wrong. I feel like he shouldn't have brung that part up. You know, I think that should have been left out. But if you want to talk about him, talk about him. Sometimes, y'all, when you talk about people, you don't have to go low down so dirty. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he did it anyway. But I think that was unfair to bring the man past out, because the man know what he did, because he did it. If he did it, I don't know if he did it or not. I'm gonna say that. This is what I heard people say, speculating. I don't know if the man did it or not, but this is what he's saying. But still, you didn't have to bring up the past. But anyway, right? We know he's saying that the courtrooms in Texas is racist, y'all. They racist, honey. They would nail a black person to the motherfucking cross, okay, y'all? And he was basically saying, if he would have talked to Karmelo father and mother, he would have got less time. He got all this time because the mother and father didn't want to have conversations with him. You know, they didn't show no sympathy. They didn't do this and they didn't do that. Is y'all catching on to what he's saying? Because I sure get it.
For understanding, so her son Karmelo does not get sentenced so harshly. But just imagine if that was one of the Metcalf family members up there pleading for mercy, pleading for leniency, pleading for grace for Karmelo. The outcome.
Open book, can you drop the link in the chat for me, please? If you still in the chat, and let me read your comment. Hold on, y'all. I agree. He has to share his story. He has shared this story before. Yes, he have. He did. You know, I just didn't want to speak on it because I don't like doing that. I don't like bringing up all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was going to say something to somebody in the chat. I forgot what I was going to say. Dominique was not on trial. Not on the trial. Right, he wasn't. Hey Roy D and Chad. Hey sweetie, how are you? The lead attorney is showing how dumb he is. Y'all crazy. I love y'all though. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button for me, please. And y'all, I don't get super stickers or anything over here for them. So I have a link pinned at the bottom. Please, if y'all like to donate for my services, please y'all can donate with the link that's pinned below. Or if the one of my moms drop it, but it is pinned below, and I would so much appreciate it.
Could have turned out way different.
Now, and this is the last case, and this is for all of my A students.
Okay.
Let's go back to the vehicular homicide cases. You think that you can get off easy by killing somebody with your car, remember? Remember
Right.
when you thought, oh, well, it's because the guy who killed 4 people was driving. That's why he got 0 years in prison. Okay,
Right.
that guy killed 4 people. What about a guy that kills 6 people in his car at a parade? You've got
Sheesh.
5 seconds to consider how many years this guy would get for killing 6 people. If the first guy got 0 years in prison for killing 4 people, how many years in prison did this guy get for killing 6 people? All right,
Damn.
got your answer? Don't you know that this guy got 1,000 years? 1,000. They calculated it out to like 1,067 years. He
Damn.
got 6 life sentences and an additional 760 years for the people that he hurt with his car. Now,
Goodness.
how do you go from 0 to 1,000?
Right.
Well, this guy got every single person in the community to hate him. Daryl Brooks never apologized to any of the family members and was hostile to everyone in the courthouse during his court case. The judge ended up blasting him. So now, my law student, you can see the importance of getting the families, getting the community on your side. It
Right.
could be the difference between 0 years and 1,000 years. Is the Karmelo family doing that? Is the Karmelo family getting the Austin Metcalf family on their side by kicking out Austin's father at the press conference? It's
Sheesh.
insanity how they are handling the Karmelo case. Karmelo will pay the price.
As much as I hate to say it, the lead attorney was absolutely
He
right.
wasn't right in
This
everything he said. He was not. I don't like the way he came up here and just outed that man. You know, he told his story. Open book, just verify. He told his story. You know, sometimes we can say things. You don't have to go so far. You know, as you know, the baby shaking and all that stuff. You know, he told his story. It is what it is. You know, so I don't agree with him with everything. But like I said again, he letting us know that Karmelo would have got less time if he would have talked to the racist ass daddy and came to agreement with the racist ass daddy. Okay? That's what he basically trying to say. And I know y'all in the chat is smart and y'all get what this okay. Well, he trying to say. Okay? Period.
man right here knows what the hell he's doing, what the hell he's talking about. I guess that's why they call him the lead attorney.
Everybody is the attorney, don't know what they're talking about all the time. Okay? Not everybody.
11 months later, we actually got our answer. 35 years, man.
Hey, Buttercup.
Yes, the appeal was filed. Yes, Jeff Metcalf came out with a video that was racist and all of that after the fact. But guess what? Before we even got to that point, if Karmelo's family would have handled things differently, then maybe the outcome would have been different. Let's go ahead and head to the big screen.
But we can't really even say that. They could have prayed that it happened like that, but we can't say, excuse me, it's a fact that he would have got less time if he'd have been cooperative with with this man's family. Like, no, you can't say that because we don't know that. Look how he turned on the family immediately. If he forgave the family, okay, like he say he did, why would he wait till everything is over and start calling this boy names and all this stuff and lying and saying something about the family money and what they did with the money and all this stuff? If he forgave them, then he would have never came out and did any of the things that he did. whether the family talked to him or not, whether the family prayed with him or not. He still had to do that. If you forgive somebody, be honest about it. You are forgiving them. You won't forget because that's your child, but you have forgave them and you're going to let it be. But unfortunately, no. I just don't buy that one. I can't buy that.
Ready to get up out of here because I have to see what y'all think about this video. Man, at the end of the day, two families lost something here, man.
Yeah,
Austin
we know
Metcalf is gone, and Karmelo Anthony might spend decades behind bars. And we all know there's so much speculation going on. The defense set him up. The racial element that could have impacted the sentencing or the way the jury seen the defendant. You got people like Charleston White saying, support this family. We need everybody to get behind him. This kid was trying to protect himself. It resulted in the loss of someone's life, but this is a clear case of self-defense. Then just a few short days later, like, forget the family, don't support him, and I'm taking my money with me. Then you have people out here backing up Jeff Metcalf saying, hey, it's no wonder he's coming out after the case is over, making racist remarks or not rocking with Karmelo Anthony's family. But at the end of the day, the lead attorney just broke it down, just showed us exactly how this could have went if he on their side. Let me know exactly what y'all think about that.
What you gotta say, Auntie?
Hey, DC Pooh, how you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you, Auntie.
Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to all the beautiful ladies and gentlemen in your chat. I said it, pretty much in your, like, I don't particularly care for lead attorney, but I do agree with his perspective. And we have to remember that this was before, right after it happened, before Jeff Metcalf done what he did. So I understand his perspective coming from a legal point of view and from a view of the public opinion point of view, because it would have made the Anthonys look like they were definitely trying to get along with Jeff Metcalf. And even if Jeff Metcalf would have did what he's doing now, it would have made him look like the worst person, because the Anthonys would have allowed him, to pray with them and show good faith in the court of public opinion, as well as to the world in media. So if Jeff would have turned around and did what he's doing now, it would have made him look like even worse of a person. So I do understand his point of view, being an attorney, because I asked him, who was a criminal attorney. Anthony filed that, and he even said he, went on this racist. He said, yeah, who would it made him look like prayed with the family? It have a difference in the public.
Auntie, move around. You going in and out. You going in and out.
What about now? Is that better?
Yes.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Better. He did. It would have been a better look. And I had to think about that too, from a court of public opinion, even looking at it in the courts where, the people can see, okay, these are two families that this tragedy has happened. They blend it together. Now, if Jeff Metcalf would have did what he's doing now, of course, he would have been the worst person in the world, right? After the Anthonys embraced him. So I do understand his point of view, even though I don't care for lead attorney, but I got to give him when he's right from a legal perspective. When you see such a tragedy happening like that, two families, if they can come together, they should have came together. Do I believe Jeff Metcalf would have still did what he did? Absolutely. But it wouldn't have been no bearing on the Anthony family. It actually would have made them look better in the light of the public. You know what I mean? Than the Metcalfs. So I absolutely believe that he would have probably turned around and did the same thing, because he is who he is. He's a racist. But he would have looked worse, because They would have said, oh, after the Anthonys embraced him, prayed with him, this is what he do. So now we understand why he's the way he is and why his sons are the way they are. So I do believe that. And even the Anthony's own attorneys, one of the attorneys that they have now said that Karmelo parents was of what happened was their fault. And I know we don't like to say that, and there's no accountability that don't like to be on the parent part, but to a certain extent, because they listened to the wrong people and had the wrong advice. And I also agree with lead attorney. There is no way that Dominique should have been their representative, because no matter what, they're always going to do background check on Black people with a fine tooth comb. So to have him as a representative was a bad choice. Now, if they knew about it, I don't know, but that could be that they didn't, because they didn't do their homework on Dominique. But he was a wrong choice of a representative to represent them in such a high profile case. We have to really acknowledge that and look at that for what it is. He was the wrong choice of a representative. And if lead attorney or nobody else was going to bring up Dominique's past, they were going to dig in Dominique's past, because that's exactly what they do. And this was a high profile case. So they're going to dig up everything with a fine tooth comb, which is what they have done to all parties on both sides that is involved in such a high profile case. So yeah, they should have made a better selection for a person to be their spokesperson. So honestly, I have to agree. I have to agree with his point of view on it. And again, this was before Jeff did what he's doing now, because it would have made him look even worse if the Anthonys would have embraced him in that moment and let him pray with them, and then he do what he's doing now. You have to understand how the legalities of and how the court of public opinion will do that had they allowed that to happen in the very beginning.
Well, I don't think maybe the mom and the father probably didn't know his background. She probably, they probably didn't know that they was going through so much. Everybody in their ear telling them this and telling them that, and who to talk to and who not to talk to, and it was just so much going on that man and that woman probably didn't even know his background, probably down the line. Maybe they found out somewhere down the line, and then they always keep saying, "Oh, the mother left her son in the courtroom," and they just left him there. No, that's not what happened. She did not just leave her son like that.
Yeah, we know that, because we knew that the judge put her out because she got emotional. The judge didn't want emotion, which I think was very dehumanizing as a judge for him to even say something like. Because how not get emotional when your children are involved? There's going to be emotion on both sides. So for him to say to Karmelo's mother was, to me, was very, very dehumanizing and very very unethical as a judge to even say don't show no emotion. When people get on stands and have to testify and have to make statements, they always get emotional, because especially if someone has lost their life, right? So how can you tell someone don't show emotion, and if they show emotion, you gonna put them out? So she showed emotion when she was begging for mercy for her child, and he put her out because she broke down and cried, which I think is very, very dehumanizing. I think it was very wrong of him. I think it was very cold-hearted. I thought it was very calculating and cunning for him to do that. And then for Jeff, of course, to get out there and say they just walked away and it wasn't even there for their son's sentencing. So we know that he's creating a false narrative when he says that, because when the judge told her to leave, of course her husband is going to come behind her to make sure she's okay. But see, what they didn't say is that Karmelo's grandmother and some other family and friends was in the court.
Exactly. To say that.
So that's the narrative that they didn't tell. So because they're trying to create this false narrative about the Anthony family, is the reason why a lot of these things are being said, about them and things that they didn't do or did do that are absolutely lies. But I do agree with lead attorney in the beginning before all ever happened. I believe that they should have looked at it from that scope if they would have had the right people behind them in the beginning to say, hey, the parent of the deceased child, he's here. What do you want us to do? He says he's here to pray. And yes, we only saw him standing up there with his shades on and his arms folded. But he did in the beginning, he had said that he had came to pray. Okay, let him come there and pray. Now, if you want to act a racist fool after that, who do you think that makes look worse in the public eye? Him, not the Anthonys. Because it would have been said, well, they embraced him in, and this is what he do. You see what I'm saying? Because he's doing it now. So if he would have did it now, he probably would have did it then, but it would have been 10 times worse. But in the court of public opinion and in the eyes of the media, and everyone is looking at that, judges, jurors, just everyday people, that would have tore on the heartstrings of the people. And when you gain that within the people, that could have, I'm not saying it absolutely would have, but I am saying it could have made a difference. And I had to listen, to my ex say that to me and think about it. Well, yeah, I can see your point in that, but of course we know that didn't happen. And then everything else just went, pretty much to hell after that. But I don't know no attorney that would have told them not to do that, honestly. And I don't care for lead attorney at all. I think he an a-hole at most parts, but he was speaking some truths in regards to that. Yeah.
Well,
can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So that was the only thing I want. And I was everybody else in you, but I had said, I was like, I'm glad they didn't let him, but then my ex was like, well, yeah, who would have looked better in the end in that had they had allowed that? And I had to think about that. Like, that's like, yeah, you're right. That would have made them look a whole lot better in a different light, just overall, even during the trial, because that could have possibly helped Karmelo. When you are a black and you're on trial and that the system is already against you, if he'd have had a good leader, spokesperson, attorney that would have told them the right thing to do, this would have went a different way in a lot of aspects as far as I think, as far as how people view viewing the Anthonys or view them in court, or saying that they wasn't showing no empathy and sympathy, in which they did, because they did give condolences, right? But people pick and choose what they want to pick and choose. You know what I'm saying? To listen to and to believe from both sides. You know what I mean? But when you're showing something in the masses, in mass media, that makes a difference, because that is the court of public opinion. That's how they would have viewed the Anthonys in the beginning. And that was the only point, which was a good point, that I think that the attorney, from his perspective, was saying that it probably could have been a great bargaining chip for the Anthonys.
Well, they railroaded him. They railroaded that baby. They knew they did. They had everything sorted out, planned out. And I don't know if they got any updates with the new attorneys yet, because I don't look into stuff, so I don't know if they got any more. Normally, Open Book will tell me when there's any updates, when it's coming stuff like that. So I just hope and pray that he get a new trial.
Yeah, that's it's a game. It's going to be a long waiting game. We talking about the state of Texas. We're talking about the criminal justice system within the state of Texas, which is one of the most biased criminal justice system, one of the slowest criminal justice system. I mean, he's going to be in there probably anywhere, I would say it could take up to 2 to 5 years before they may even look at the appeal, unless some strings get pulled behind the scenes. Somebody knows somebody that can rush the, to get,
You think it's gonna
to
be
try to
that
get the
long? Up to
appeal. But
5
other than that,
years?
it could
You think
be
it's
2
gonna
to
be?
5 years. I'm not saying that's how long it's going to be, but I'm saying it could take up to, if you really just look normally at how long it has taken appeals to go before the appellate court, is anywhere from 2.5 to up, can be up to 5 years. Seriously. Do you know how long some prisoners, inmates have sat and waited on appeal? 10, 20, some of them been 10 and 20 years, right? And these ain't been high profile. Karmelo's is a high profile, so they may put a rush on it. If they do 2 years, that's a miracle. If they do 2, but he's going to sit in there for some time. Like I said, nobody for up, honey, other than the good Lord. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a minute. Unfortunately, it takes appeals, and the criminal justice system is just slow. Period. And I'm so slow when it comes to appeals, because I'm pretty sure that they have a multitude of them. He got some powerful attorneys behind him, and hopefully they can pull some strings to get it, sooner, to get a rush on it. Like I said, 2 years will be considered a rush when it comes to appeal. You got people sitting in prison, been sitting waiting 5-10 years and ain't got their appeal yet, still waiting on the appeal.
So you think these attorneys had already reached out and talked to the mom and dad?
Oh yeah, for sure they have. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they hired them, and from my understanding, that they had a good sit down with the Anthonys, and the Anthonys, I guess, kind of really like questioned them and things that they should have done in the beginning. I heard that they are doing now, with these attorneys. But I think that they are more trusting of these attorneys because of their set and experience and their years, being in whether criminal justice, whether it's civil, whether it's race issue or things of that nature. He got a great team. The thing is, you can have a great team and you could put up the best argument, but can you be approved or denied by those 30 appellate judges that's sitting at that seat that's going to make a decision to deny it or approve it? That is the $64,000 question. And when you look at the judges that are up there now, that I think it's 9 of them that are up there now that's sitting, all of them are Republicans. All of them are hardcore right-wing Republicans, and they have been in control in that seat for 30 years. Right. So we're saying, remember when I was saying now come November, 3 of those seats is going to be up for election, which means 3 of those judges is going to either be retiring or running against someone else in office that can possibly take their place in that seat. That's why it's so important for the people in the state of Texas, particularly Collins County, to get up there and vote in November to at least put some seats in there where they feel like it'll be a little bit more of a balance, where when Karmelo's appeal do come up for approval or denial, it may make a difference of who's sitting up in that chair in the appellate court. See, it's a lot of things that come into play when it comes to the criminal justice system. Everything is politics when it comes to that. Everything is politics. Everything is racial. And we don't like to say that it is, but it is. This case has caused a major racial divide. We know that the criminal justice system does not treat Black people particularly as fair when it comes to sentencing and judgment and approving of appeals and things like that than it does our white counterparts. We know that for a fact. So we can't deny what's really factual in the criminal justice system. We know it's flawed tremendously, and it particularly disproportionately when it comes to us.
Yeah.
So they definitely get it from a different perspective. You know what I mean? and this appeal matters.
I believe they working though. I believe they working. It might take a little time, but I believe them lawyers. I believe they is definitely on it. I believe they working this shit right behind the scenes as we speak. I believe they working, and they're gonna get to the bottom to all the loopholes because it was a lot of stuff. Now I did hear one person say that they even might subpoena those witnesses again.
The only way that they can do that is if they get a new trial, which means it has to be approved
that's what
first.
The attorney said if it get approved for a new trial, that these attorneys can subpoena those witnesses back again. That's exactly what he said.
They can subpoena. They can also subpoena it could be new witnesses. If they get a new trial, starts all over, brand new again, which means you can have old witnesses, you can have new witnesses, you can have old evidence, you can bring in new evidence. But the key is it got to be granted for the new trial in order for that to happen. And that is only based on what is in the transcripts. That's why they going through the like a comb. The little nuances, but mainly it's the transcripts. They are looking for errors in the transcript to see where there was errors made on the prosecution side, on the defense side, on the judge's side, on the jury side, to see, right? And we already talked about some of those things that, we think that are errors that they are going to look at, which is the jury selection and, and things of that nature, and his attorney, being a disservice to him. It's a name for it. I forget what it's called. But these things are very tough in the appellate court to get them to see that, because
look at how the state was having them witnesses lie. They need to look into that. Because that's exactly what they was doing. Karen said, "What was the 120 days for?" I don't know, Karen. Maybe tonight when the prosecutor lady, I think she's going live tonight. I can't remember her name. Maybe you can put that in her chat and ask her, and she probably can give you better idea of what you were asking, because I really don't know that question. So maybe you can ask her tonight.
What she say 120 days was about?
Yeah, I told her I didn't know. I told her she can ask the lady, the attorney.
I don't know her. I heard of 120 days. I don't know. So without context, I couldn't say. But yeah, the appeal is very important that Karmelo be granted this appeal, because it's like four main reasons why this appeal is so important for him. Because number one, we need more transparency, right? Because when it comes to the justice system, the trust is broken within the community, but especially within our race and culture, because we know it has not been very transparent. It has not been very trustworthy to us, right? And then you gotta look at competency, right? We gotta talk about the competency on all those sides I just named: the defense attorney, the prosecution, the judge, the jury. Was the correct competency there? You talk about things that are important within this appeal to Karmelo. Is number one, did he get a fair trial? The appellate court has those strips.
Yeah, we know he get a fair trial. And they know it too. They want to took that case.
Yeah, we know that and we feel that, but they got to know it and feel it. You see what I'm saying? That is the difference, because they are the ones that's making the call, the appellates. So they got to look at those transcripts and say, this is the error here. And they're going to start from the beginning. Like you said, they're going to start from the jury selection all the way to the end, because all of that is a part of the transcripts. Even when they doing the jury selection, that stenographer is in there taking notes of, and writing and typing the transcripts on all of that. So they gonna know everything that was said. Even when Mike Howard, I think they said he did object to in the beginning to, I think, the second black education that they struck. They say he did object. So as long as he object to something that they can look at that and say, well, he did challenge this, so was that fair? And they can judge that based off of that. Because if it's something said that the defense attorney did not object to, did not fight back against, they're going to look at it and say, well, why this attorney let this slide by? It has to be a blatant error where the appellate court judges can say, well, why did they even allow, like all of them, like the judge didn't object or say anything, didn't overrule this, the defense attorney, the prosecution, because even though the prosecution side is going juggler, they still have to make it where it has to be a fair trial for everybody involved, and that includes Karmelo. Even though they are on the opposition side, it is still the responsibility of the prosecution to also make sure that Karmelo gets a fair trial. And even on the prosecution side, they didn't do that. So hopefully the appellate judges will see that in the transcripts, where you didn't let one black, you didn't let two black, you let three blacks go. You dismissed three black people.
Well,
And
let me
okay,
ask you a question. Did you hear about it was a lady that was a clerk and she got fired for giving out information?
I heard that. Yeah, vaguely I heard about it, but I don't know the details of it. Do you?
Well, they said she was giving out information on Karmelo case way before the case started. They said she was giving out information on that case.
Well, then she will be the second person that's got fired from a job, because you know that sister that was a guard got fired for speaking, even just speaking on, behalf of Karmelo, and she was on his side. It was a sister, and she lost her job. She was a supervisor, in the criminal justice system in the prison, and she lost her job. So they're gonna have to be careful, because if they find anybody slipping any information, it's somebody paying for information, somebody peeking too much in his files, going too much in the computer, looking him up.
They said she was a clerk, and then the girl, she said that she was giving the information to the girl Sarah Fields. That's what she was giving the information to, because it was all over Facebook. I seen it all over Facebook. It's been two people that got fired. Right, I heard that too, sis. Two people, right.
If that's true, then
Hey, Candy. Hey, Candy girl. I hope that
they not playing.
Oh, they probably gonna watch that video. Yeah, Karen. Most definitely. They're definitely gonna watch that video again. And when they watch that video, y'all, I hope they pay attention to that garbage can. I hope and pray they pay attention to that goddamn garbage can. And see, listen.
Video.
Huh?
Oh, you talking about the newly released? Listen, guys. They are not going to watch that video if it does not unequivocally approve a Karmelo to be innocent. They only go if it was not admissible in court during this trial. They're not going to look at that video. You have to understand how appellate court works. Whatever was municipal in the trial at the time is what's going to be looked at.
But the video was in the trial. This video was in the trial. That's the video they released.
Okay, so if it's the same video that the jurors and everybody,
yes, it's the same video with Karmelo running down the bleachers, and you can see in that same video where the guy went to the garbage can. You can see in that video where the guy picked something up and walked down and never was seen before. All that's in the same video.
That's in the same video that was in the trial, right?
Yes.
That was in that everybody is saying that.
No, wasn't that video in the trial? Let me know in the chat. Was that video in the trial? The baby niece's family. The first video. Okay, she said it was in the first video. So was that video in the trial, if you know of? The video came in what she's talking about. Let me see. I'm trying to see what they're saying. Because if they released that video to the public, it was in the trial. Okay, I thought so. Yeah. But see, what it was, they didn't expect for people that had common sense to see the garbage can thing. They wanted people to focus on Karmelo, running out of the tent, running down the bleachers. But see, when these content creators started reviewing that video, everybody seen that. And I seen it also. I seen that in that video. And I'm like, well, damn, why they didn't focus on that garbage can? Because the show in that video is in that video. You can plainly see that guy. Yes, it was in the trial. That's the only evidence they had. And that was the only evidence they had. Yeah. Those videos were added. Yeah, a lot of people did say that too. Yeah.
Yeah, like at the appellate courts they can and do look at video evidence, but it's generally only if the video was officially in as evidence during the original trial. Okay, so it's got to be the same video that was looked at in the trial. That's the video that they can watch, that they're going to watch. If they watch a video, it's going to be the same one.
So practically what you're saying, if that video with the guy, whoever putting something in that garbage can, you practically saying if that video wasn't shown in court, they're not going to show that video again.
No, it's not. It's not going to be shown to the appellate court. No, unfortunately, it's not. Only the video that was shown in the court trial as evidence. That is the only video they're going to watch.
She said,
if there is another video, like I said, it has to be an exception where it's absolutely clearing him in self-defense. Can his new defense attorneys bring that up? If it's absolutely 100% equivocally, they can see it's self-defense, then they can bring it and present it to the appellate court. Other than that, they will not look at anything that was not in the original trial.
That's true, Candy Girl. I agree with you, Candy Girl. They don't think we wouldn't see the trash can neither. Exactly. I said that. That's what they thought. And you know what, y'all, to be honest to y'all in the chat, I really didn't even pay attention to the garbage can. When I was seeing the videos flow, I was trying to pay attention to Karmelo, and I was trying to pay attention to really under the tent to make out the people that was under the tent. But then when I heard Freezy say something about the garbage can, because he was the first one mentioning that goddamn garbage can, and I went back to look at him like, oh hell yeah, what the hell is he doing in the garbage can? Then me and Open Book talked about it behind the scenes too. So it did come to my attention. Like I said, I was really focused on under the tent, Karmelo, and stuff like that. But yeah, you can clearly see that something was put in that garbage can, or whatever the situation may be with that garbage can. Yeah, you can clearly see that. And listen, y'all, I'm gonna say this. I don't know if they're not gonna look at it or not. They may look at that. You know what I'm saying? They may look at that garbage can situation, because I'm gonna tell you something. It's going to cross their eyes. You know what I'm saying? Because it's plain as day right there. You can't miss it. You know what I'm saying? So maybe as their team, maybe they will get together on the back end as their dream team and bring up the garbage can. I'm not going to say they're not, because they may will. You know what I mean? Because it is something to look at, in my opinion.
The dream team will look at the entire video that the other witnesses said that they saw another video. The dream team will look at it. But you guys have to understand, the only way, I repeat, the only way the appellate court will look at new video and evidence is if they grant a new trial. They're not just going to look at it right off the bat. Now, if the new trial is approved and granted, now, again, as I said, now you bring in new evidence. You can bring in the video where somebody throwing something in the garbage and taking it out. Now you can bring in new evidence, or maybe somebody else's fingerprints is on something, or you can bring in new evidence or new
And
witnesses.
that's what I'm saying, Auntie. I hope they do that. I hope they do a new trial, right? Because I want that garbage cans to be brought up. I feel like that garbage can is very important in this case. So I hope they work hard, and I know they will, and I believe in God, and I think they're going to turn this thing around. I think they're going to look at every aspect of it. And I hope and pray, and I ask God for a new trial, because I want that garbage can to be brought up. Yeah.
A new trial is what can turn this whole thing around for Karmelo, because it's only if he's granted a new trial that's going to be turned that can turn things around. And that is the reason for the dream team, right? That like you saying, they looking at everything, they gathering, they may be even talking to new witnesses, but they can't present that unless they get the new trial. So we got to get over that hump first. So we're praying and hoping and wishing for the new trial, because we know that if a new trial is presented, now the dream team can come in with this new evidence, new video, new this, new that, new witnesses, old witnesses. Oh, we caught this witness in a lie. They perjured themselves when they said this. And now we could put them back on the stand and show where they perjured themselves. But all of this newly found thing that everybody is talking about and watching and seeing on that's happening now after the fact can only be granted if the new trial is granted. So that's the main thing we got to pray and push for. We got to pray and push for that he be allowed and granted a new trial.
She says, so if a new trial be granted, can new evidence be admitted?
Yeah, that's what I just said. All of it. New witnesses, old witnesses. Like I said, if a new trial is granted, anybody that purges themselves on that stand in the old trial can be called out on their new trial, can be caught in their lies, and can get in trouble for perjury. So everybody was saying that majority of those witnesses for the prosecution was lying, right? So now if the trial is granted and the dream team can prove, they have to prove that those witnesses, or one or two or all of them, perjured themselves. Now we're talking. We have to have the new trial. The new trial, you could come in with anything that you want to throw in there and see if it stick. Old, new, whatever. But the key is getting the new trial, getting approved for the appeal, granted for a new trial, because that is the only way, I repeat, the only way new or old evidence will be allowed is if there's a new trial.
Well, we pray for a new trial.
A lot of people it's just a lot of people is discovering a lot of stuff that was left out the old trial. We looking at why this wasn't in the old trial. Oh my God, why? His attorney didn't, like I just that new video of Karmelo where he's saying he was protecting himself and stuff on the police camera, all that stuff. Why wasn't all that stuff in the first trial? You see what I'm saying? So this is a lot of things that I feel was an error on his attorneys, the defense attorney side. Why didn't you let them hear Karmelo saying, I was protecting myself, I'm innocent? Why? You're the defense attorney. Like, he was not doing thing, in my humble opinion, to truly, truly defend this young man. He was not doing anything. He didn't hardly object to anything. I think they say he may have objected during the whole trial, maybe twice, maybe. So hope all of that would be, taken into consideration and looked at when it comes to the appellate court, especially if there's an error. Because like I said, when they were saying that the prosecution was asking the prosecution was not supposed to ask 17-year-olds are not considered officers of the court or officers of the law. They were not. The prosecution was not supposed to ask 17-year-old underage, immature, unfully developed brain teenagers, did they think if Karmelo was guilty or innocent, or do they think it was self-defense? Do they think it was murking? That was wrong for him. That should have been first of all, should have been objected by the defense. And then the judge should have said something, because they know legally that question was not supposed to be allowed to be answered by 17-year-olds that can sway the jury. So hopefully that's one thing that I talked to my ex about, that I said that was said in that court. He said, oh no, that was not supposed to happen. He said, and the defense attorney didn't object. I said, no. He said, oh no, that was not supposed to happen. So hopefully things like that, the appellate court can see in the transcript that it wasn't objected, number one, by the defense attorney. Number two, the judge didn't even say nothing. They allowed 17-year-olds to give that type of judgment, and that was not their place to do that. They're not an officer of the law or of the court to make that kind of judgment call that can persuade the jury, which is what happened. We already know that's what happened. They believed everything those witnesses got up there and said. Mm-hmm. And that's the railroading. That was a big part of the railroading. You're going to listen to a bunch of 17-year-olds tell you whether they believe something was self-defense or do they believe it was murking or not. Like, no. He should have objected to that, because that's leading the witness. You're not supposed to do that. That should have been struck out by the judge when the defense attorney objected.
That's why I said that was working together, because the judge said they allowed that shit to happen.
Yeah, that was a major ball that was dropped. So, these people should be able to see clearly through those transcripts to know that he got railroaded. A lot of his civil rights was not given to him and taken from him, and I feel like they stripped him of a lot of his civil rights. You understand? Because and you got to look at, he's 19 now. He's 17 at the time it happened, and now he's 19. He's still immature too. Brain ain't fully developed. So hopefully they will look at this case and see and look in the eyes of a 17-year-old young man. And and another thing, character witnesses was something the defense attorney did not allow. The judge we don't. Yes. We don't know anything about this young man. Does he have a record? Does he have a history of violence? Is he an athlete in school? Is he a straight A student? He was accepted into 21 colleges. He saved somebody's life. All of these things that should have been a part of his trial was not.
And that's why they didn't put Austin up there, because Austin had a record of bullying from schools and calling girl names and all of that stuff. That's why they didn't want to put Austin up there, because they didn't want Karmelo fake ass attorney to cross-examine him, because everything would have came out about Austin. They knew exactly what they was doing.
Well, see, these are going to be some of the things that his new defense attorneys are going to argue when trying to get the appeal. Your Honor, there were no expert witnesses on the defense side that came up and spoke on Karmelo's behalf in regards to the wound and explain what could have happened. He didn't have any character witness. We talked a good student, never been, doesn't have a criminal record, no history of violence, 3.7 grade point average, an athlete, stellar athlete, and academic wise as a student, saved someone's life. None of this, Your Honor, was they're gonna argue all of that now when they go before that appellate court. They're going to argue that now. Your Honor, you're looking at a 19-year-old kid that has never been in trouble a day in his life.
Yeah, because they could have let the ladies spoke out for him, the one that said,
Your Honor,
her daughter, all that.
His mindset wasn't even evaluated right after the incident happened. Why is that, Your Honor? Why are they holding what he said after he got arrested against him? He's a 19-year-old kid. We don't know where his mindset was. His mindset could have been confused. He could have been mentally disabled in the moment. It's going to be so many things that they can argue that was never, ever argued and brought up in the first trial. These are things that they're going to fight for now against the prosecution to get this appeals granted. They're going to bring up all of these things as a part of like why they feel this young man needs an appeal and needs a new trial. All of these things we talk.
I'm telling you, Auntie, I think he's gonna win this trial. I'm telling you, I believe it in my heart. I believe in my heart that he got this.
God, I'm praying to God he does, because he deserved it, because he absolutely was railroaded. He absolutely was. He absolutely was. Like I said, I believe his civil rights was violated. I believe so much wrong was done to him as far as getting a fair trial. And again, these are all the things that his new defense is going to argue. All these points and many, many more that were missed. Because, see, they're going to go through that transcript with a fine-tooth comb. They're going to go through it before they even, it's presented to the appellate court. They went through it. They looked through and believe me, they highlight and they bringing up all these points that they feel were errors. And then they're going to bring their own point of view as to say he was denied this, he was denied that, he was denied, you know what I'm saying? So all of these things that we're talking about and other people are talking about that are legitimate things. I'm not talking about, because some people saying some stuff is just like, that's not true, like way out there, right? We're talking about the things like the things I mentioned. There was no medical examiner on the defense side. There was no professionals. There was no psychologist getting up there talking about Karmelo's state of mind right after the incident. Character witnesses, his school record, the fact that he doesn't have a criminal record, the fact that he's never been in trouble, the fact that he says somebody like all these things should have been presented in the first trial that they're going to argue now to get this appeal. So I pray to God they see that and they look at that and say, this is a 19-year-old. Okay, something's got to be up, because this is a 19-year-old kid that all of a sudden now, he got all this going for him, and all of a sudden now this incident happened.
Yeah, and look at the time. What like they didn't do none of that. And I would love for that lady, the lady that he saved her daughter. I think that was her daughter.
They should have put.
Yes, I would have loved to hear her spoke, man. That'd have been so wonderful. Yeah.
And the great thing about people, if they get the new trial, she can take the stand. She can take the stand, and she will be a new character witness as to be able to testify and say how Karmelo saved her child's life. It's a newspaper clipping. It's in the newspaper what that young man did. You know what I'm saying?
That's why
defense attorney not bring up anything to represent his character? Why did that happen? Why was it allowed to happen? Why? You know why? Because they railroaded him. They railroaded him. Because you just get up there and just say like.
The attorney I watched, he did say he spoke to her and asked her, did they ask you to come in? And she said no, and she said she would have came. And that was the only thing he said he asked her, because I was on his live that night. And that would have been so great. But, the attorney was
I don't even think that defense reached out to her. And this pastor that's going on all these platforms that's talking now, I don't believe, he said he talked to Mr. Metcalf. Why wasn't he able to give a character witness up there for Karmelo if he the Anthony's family pastor? Why? You see what I'm saying? So again, these are things that they stripped him of, as far as like, I think his civil rights when it comes to him being able to defend himself and speak to his character. I have not seen no type of trial like that where they have not gotten people up there to speak on that person's character.
See, listen, they didn't want nobody to come up there and speak about Austin neither, right? Because they knew if they would have had somebody come up there and speak on Austin's behalf, which it was family, whoever it could have been, right? They would have to do the same thing for Karmelo. So they didn't want that for Karmelo. So that's why they didn't let that go on for Austin, right? See, they thought people were stupid with that situation. But I knew why. In my mind, I thought, oh yeah, they didn't let it go for Austin because they really didn't want it to happen for people to say good things about Karmelo. They wanted to sweep all Karmelo good shit under fucking rug. That's how they did it. They
Again, if we get that new trial, the new defense can subpoena Austin, and he can be forced by subpoena. Now, if he get up there and just plead the fifth, that's but they can subpoena him, and they can question him. Oh, so you did an interview, and you literally said that. Who did he say that took Karmelo's backpack and threw it? Did he say it was Austin? Or was it Hunter? One of them, whoever.
I don't know. I forgot what
he said that in
y'all took the book bag, y'all. Yeah, that awesome. He's amazing. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, but they gonna see. They know that Hunter said some things where he can incriminate himself, right? As okay, even being.
I think Hunter took the book bag and threw the book bag.
So get the new trial. They can subpoena Hunter. And they can ask him all those questions, and they can ask him about the email that the young ladies, the cheerleaders sent about his behavior, and they could talk about his bullying and all. Yeah, see, these are the things that we gotta hope and pray that we get the new trial for, because now all those things can be presented in the new trial. They ain't gonna miss, ain't no stone gonna go unturned if he get this new trial. Trust me and believe. They're gonna bring up everything about the Metcalf boys past and everything about the things that they did not talk about as far as Karmelo's character. All of that is gonna be brought into play if they get this new trial. And that's what we're praying for.
Anthony's must not have trusted the pastor enough, because he said he told them they need to put Melo on the stand. Then he said by talking to Jeff, he thought he was a. I did hear him say that. Now I don't know why they didn't put him on the stand, but when that pastor said that night, I definitely agreed with him. I did agree with him, but you know, like I said, I keep my thoughts and I keep my opinions to myself. Certain things I just don't. But I did definitely agree with that pastor that night. I think the pastor was right. I think he should have put him on the stand.
That's true, because 95% of self-defense cases, the person get on stand because they need to hear why it was self-defense. They need to hear why you did what you did. And this is the thing that I feel that the defense also failed Karmelo, is the fact that you know this as a defense attorney, you should have prepped Karmelo. You had a whole year to prep Karmelo to get on the stand. See, Karmelo has been at home for a whole year. You prepping him the whole year. I don't care if we got to do it over and over again, every day, every other day, 2-3 times a week, 2-3 times a month. I'm going to prep you for both sides, because it can't be one side. You got to also be able to prep him for what the prosecution is going to ask him, things that they may say to him. He needed to be
two attorneys said. Attorneys, they said
out. The whole year he was out, his defense attorney should have been prepping him to take the stand. Number one. They should have also been, the defense attorney should have also been prepping the parents to take the stand. The defense attorney should have been prepping any witness, character witness, or whoever. The only one he can't prep is any specialist, medical examiner, psychiatrist. You can't prep them because that's their profession. They get up there and speak from a professional level. But any witnesses, character witnesses, the parents, Karmelo, all of them had a whole year to be prepped, and they weren't. Why? And the defense attorney knows that. You saying it's self-defense, people need to hear why. People need to hear why you had that jabber on you. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. They need to hear why. Maybe you afraid. Maybe you walked through a bad neighborhood. Maybe you had it for fishing. Maybe you had it for whatever. Cutting the belts off the tent.
Well,
Whatever.
let's just say this, chat, because I see a lot of y'all in the chat saying maybe he shouldn't have took the stand. Well, let's say this. If he would have had the right attorney, yes. Right? He had a fucked up attorney, didn't care for him, didn't do anything, just took the money. No. I will agree with y'all on that. No. But if he would have had one of those two attorneys, those two guys that spoke out on Karmelo behalf that night on his live, if y'all was over there, if he would have had some attorneys like that, yes, absolutely. They would have prepped him and everything. Okay? But the attorney that he had, no. Yes, it was a bad idea for him to not take the stand. That's what I'll say.
But that part falls on the negligence of the defense attorney because he knows that he should have prepped Karmelo. He even should have prepped their parents. He should have prepped all witnesses that was getting.
He knew that, but that's not what he wanted to do. They wanted to hurry up and get this trial over, railroad him. They already had his sentence together. They already had everything together they wanted together. He didn't give a damn about prepping that boy a year later. He didn't care about none. All of that was irrelevant to that law.
Did you hear the interview that he did with TMZ? Mike Howard. Did you hear that interview? Did you read the interview? Right? So we know that he's putting the black on Karmelo and his parents because ultimately he knows the decision does lie with them, right? So he put it back on them as to say that they didn't want to, or Karmelo didn't want to take the stand. But he's shifting the blame when he knows that.
Because you the one told him. If Karmelo did not want to take the stand, who told him don't take the stand? And why did you tell him don't take the stand? So you can't blame that boy as an attorney for not taking the stand because evidently he didn't take it because you told him not to take it. And you told him probably what could happen if he take it. So that's why he didn't take it.
Well, no, this is the thing. Even if he said he didn't want to take it, he should have. A good defense attorney would have said, the best thing in your interest is to take it, and I'm going to prepare you for it because you need to take the stand. This is you need to take the stand, and you need to explain to the juror, explain to the court, explain why. It's the main thing. And again, when I read the interview that he did with TMZ, of course, he threw it right back on, Karmelo or the parents, or they made the decision or whatever, because that's what he was going to do, right? He's not going to hold himself accountable for his lack thereof of a subpar job that he did, right? So of course he's going to put it back on them, but again, because he didn't have the right representation is a lot of the reason why he got railroaded. And what and like that other black guy said, the attorney, he said he either was too ignorant and didn't know, or he was a part of the railroading. Talking about the defense attorney. So in other words, the defense attorney was either part of the railroad or he was really that ignorant. And I would hate to think that he is that ignorant. So you figure out, I think it might be the latter, right? He was either that ignorant or he was a part of the railroad. And again, I think it was the latter because he ain't that ignorant. You don't have a career that long as a defense attorney. You started out as a prosecutor, and then you go to your own private practice to not be dumb enough. You done defended plenty people. You know that when it is a self-defense case, 95% of the time, unless it's just a slam dunk, self-defense, slam dunk. Other than that, you need to take that stand. Period, point blank.
You know what? And he worked it just as a prosecutor, okay? Because he didn't work as an attorney that got paid money. He worked it as a damn prosecutor because he worked right with the damn state.
Oh, that's what it's called, ineffective counsel. That's one of the things they're gonna put on the reason for the appeal: ineffective counsel from the attorney, and like I said, along with some other errors that are going to be in that transcript. Those are the things that they're going to judge. The appellate court judges are going to judge whether they grant the appeal or not. It's going to be a slew of things that they, like I said, they're going to bring to the table. But part of their argument is definitely going to be that they feel like Karmelo Anthony's civil rights was violated, because I absolutely do feel that way. I absolutely do.
Yeah.
But and again, to me, it wasn't enough transparency. You know what I mean? First of all, when we talk about transparency, I'm gonna break some things down that I feel like the reason why it wasn't transparent to me. Number one, no cameras was allowed in the courtroom. That was one. So you're not allowing the public, taxpaying citizens who have a right, to be there, to witness, and there needs to be cameras and openness in the courtroom. The judge didn't allow that, right? And especially when you got people that may be ignorant of the legal system and don't know certain things. So that's why you have it in a more type of open environment, so people can learn and get a better understanding of the criminal justice system. But if you're not being transparent about those things, right? And I know he did it to silence people, to silence rumors or basic conspiracy theories and all of that. He said that in his interview, right? And don't want to be as openly to address any alleged errors or rumors. That's why he didn't have no cameras in there, y'all. Trust and believe. I mean, I've really been like breaking things down and like researching. I'm like, as big as George Floyd, as big as Trayvon Martin, as big as all these cases were in the media, he knows that this case was high profile. And for him to literally shut the public and media down the way he did, that was diabolical and very calculating on his part, because he didn't want us to see that transparency, because he knows, even just from the people that was in there and the things that they said, they could see that it was a slam dunk. He was being railroaded. They saw it from the get. So that's why he shut down and didn't have the cameras. So therefore, there goes the trust when it comes to the court system and the criminal justice system. When judges like Judge Cockroach do the things that he did, this is why we don't trust the criminal justice system. When you don't have people that look like me, that don't have my lived experience, that don't know what it's like to be in this black body that I'm in, when you don't have nobody that can relate to me up there on the jury, again, that's not transparency. That's biases. But you want to put it in the form of, because they teachers. Nah, not if you had another jury that don't look like me that was in education up there. Now, make that make sense. You got somebody else that don't look like me, but they in education and they on the jury, but you let 3 people that look like me that are in education, you dismiss them. Make that make sense, right? And we know that from time and time again for decades, that there have been all white juries being judge, jury, and executioner for black people for decades. When you allow somebody that look like me, yeah, that's to me, that's showing a bias. And for you to say, but there's people of color, no Middle Easterner, no Hispanic, no Asian person has ever lived the black experience. So no. That's not a peer of mine. They have not lived my lived experience in America as a black person. We know that you will never in this lifetime and in the next lifetime see an all black jury convict a white person. You'll never see that, ever. But we know that that's our history, though. And I heard one of these attorneys, I ain't gonna be mentioning his name because I can't stand him. I heard him say, "Oh, all the witnesses got up there and lied." Like, you don't think that can be possible?
Oh yeah,
How
I know you're
many
talking about. Yeah, I don't fuck around.
all witnesses got up there and lied on black people and sent them to jail when they're innocent? They have a history of doing that for decades. All witnesses have got up there. And you want to say because some of those witnesses were black, again, you got to look at the fact that those people have to live in that community and deal with those racist people in that community. And if they are afraid of those Metcalf boys and family, then they don't want to deal with that when they get home. So would they get up there and lie? Absolutely they will. Don't matter that they look like me.
She said they ain't want nobody up there with sense. You right about that.
You know what I mean? And then you looking at a very conservative county, Collin County, 30-year history of hardcore right wingers on the that run it, from the judge to the prosecution to the DA, all of them, and they all in cahoots together. And the jury produced. I know wasn't no black there, since y'all want to say, oh, it wasn't all white. To us, it's considered all white because their ideology, their mindset, their thinking, their politics, their religion, all is adjacent to white culture, not ours. Not ours. So it's a lot of things a part in transparency. We know that the whole police system and the criminal justice system comes from the slave patrol system from way back, where all white witnesses got on the stand and lied, all of them, on one black person and sent them to jail or sentenced them to death. So for somebody to say all of them lie, yeah, all people can be lying. All of them can lie. You know? Competency?
Yeah.
Oh, it should be a conflict of interest right there when it comes to the competency, when you had Toby Cook, which was the other defense attorney who was friends with the prosecutor. That should be a conflict right. These are all things that I know that this dream team we're going to bring up to the appellate court. You talking competency? You talking about conflict of interest? Are you kidding me? Am I getting a fair trial? Are you breaking any of my constitutional rights? Are you breaking any of the amendments with me as a person that stands trial, a taxpaying citizen that's on trial for my life? Right? Am I getting treated fair? I mean, it's an obligation of both sides, the defense and the prosecution, to make sure that I get a fair trial. Did that happen in Karmelo's trial? I think not.
Nope.
I think not. These are arguments that I know that they're going to argue to get that appeal. You know, we know that racism has played a big part in the criminal justice system for decades. Are we going to act like it's not playing a part now? Are we really act like it's not playing a part now? Are we really going to sit and act like we're going to be blind to the fact that we know that if the roles were reversed, it would have been a different outcome? Are we really going to sit and act like race does not play a factor? Didn't play a factor in this trial? Come on now. I think we know better than that. Right?
He did. Well, I'm going to get up off of here, y'all.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that because I want us to be more informed, more educated on how the criminal justice system works. If you got any black, especially black boys that you're raising, the laws in your state Tell them what to say, what not to say, when to say it, how to say it, what their rights are, if they ever get stopped, whether they driving or whether they walking. If they ever in certain type of predicaments where they have to defend themselves, look at the laws and try to tell them to stay within the laws of that state.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. Karmelo could have been my grandchild, my son, yours, your sisters, your brothers, your neighbors.
Yeah.
That's why it's hitting the way it's hitting for us. So we can't sit and act like it that race doesn't play a factor. Not if you black in America. And everything is ran by politics. Everything. When your job, when and where you buy food in your community, the prices of it, your rent, when you go to buy a house, when you go to buy a car, the way you vote, everything is affected by it. So I wish people still stop saying that it ain't, because it is. Race and politics was this country was built and founded on it. Are we gonna? It's not, so we know accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Have patience with our black sons and daughters that our white counterparts and no other race have to have with their sons and daughter. Do we not know that? We should, especially if you got black sons.
Yeah, that's true.
I just literally Janet Jackson tell a story about her getting pulled over in California when she was driving a car. And she said the reason they let me go is because I was who I was. So let's pretend that it doesn't make a difference.
Candy Girl,
Because
I agree. Me and Open Book was talking about that. We was definitely talking about that yesterday. Yeah, we was. So I agree with you on that.
but yes, let's to pray for Karmelo, to pray for the family. Let's continue to support them in the way that we can. And nobody is saying that to happen to Austin. Nobody is saying that. That's a horrible thing, right? And you can have empathy for the deceased, but it does not negate the fact that Karmelo was railroaded in this trial, and he deserves at least to get a fair trial, and he did not get that. And that is the only thing that I'm saying. Let the young man get a fair trial. Let him be judged by a jury of his peers. When you talk about jury of his peers, yeah, you talk about people in your community, but I didn't see a younger generation. I didn't hear nothing about a younger generation of 20, 30-something year olds even on that trial, not less known a black person.
Yep.
That has lived in his skin and have his lived experience in America. So we have to look at all aspects and angles of this situation. He deserves a fair trial. He did not get that. Let's start there first. He did not get a fair trial, and he deserves a fair trial. And that's the only thing that we're saying. Allow him to get what every other citizen in here get that ain't black, a fair trial, and not get railroaded. Because they let you know it don't matter that you live in a nice middle class neighborhood, got a nice middle class job, making nice middle class money, driving a nice middle class car. It don't matter when you black in America. They still try to put you in your place. They still try to tell you the N-word to them. Right? So we know no matter what, we got to move different. We got to move different. We got to start serving on juries in communities and stop dodging jury duty for these very reasons. Because you never know. You may have to hold someone else that looks like you life in the palm of your hands. And and you be a part of the jury and you judge them fairly. You judge them fairly. Fairly. Can't do not sitting there. And you get the opportunity, and not one, not two, but three. I think they said it was over 500 and some jurors that they had to go through prior to this trial. And you see how fast that judge rushed through them people. There was like I think they said 500 people. They were just rushing through them. I'm not saying that the black guy that said he can't send a black man to jail. Hell no, he wasn't supposed to get up there and say that and then think he was going to sit on the jury. He was supposed to be dismissed. But you can't say stuff like that. We have to think. We have to think and we have to better. If we opportunities to be on, sit at the table, to have that seat in that position where when you do hold somebody's life in the palm of your hands, you can judge them fairly and right. We can do it and not at race, but other people can that when they look at us. That's what we have to understand. Other people can't look and do that. We can look at other people and judge fairly. Other people do us that way. So that don't see bullshit, I'm sorry, miss me with that shit. Because that's the first thing we all see when we look at somebody is what color they are. Duh. If I see color, I have black friends and this stuff. You know what I mean? But that don't mean you ain't racist.
Yeah. Well, we'll just y'all put the purple hearts in there for Karmelo, y'all. And I'm going to get off of here. I hope everyone enjoyed the rest of their day and be safe.
Enjoy y'all. Stay safe, stay prayed up. Continuous prayer for Cole and his family. And let's just stay prayed up that he get this appeal whenever it happens, that he be granted this appeal, because that's what we need. He needs a new trial. All right, Niecy Pooh, love you, and I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right, babe.
All right, y'all. I'm going to get up off of here. Y'all, the rest of y'all day. Y'all be blessed. Y'all stay prayed up. And I love you guys. And I will see you guys later. Oh, yeah, Candy Girl. He will. He definitely will. He's definitely going to get a fair trial this time. I believe in God, and I know he is. He's definitely going to get a fair trial. They're gonna be shocked when they see this. They're going to be shocked. And for the haters that want him to stay in jail for all this long, they're going to be mad. They're going to be big mad. Because God going to turn all this around. So I will see you guys later. Y'all have a great day. And I hope I started getting a little more support on my channel, y'all, because I'm not monetized at all. And I do have a link that people can support through my link of my channel, because I do come up here and sit for hours and stuff and bring commentary. So I would just like a little more support. So I just want to say that. And I will see you guys on the next live. And you guys have a blessed day.